Hi everyone! So, I actually had to take some notes on this topic. Oh, y'all can't actually see that, but it's okay. Y'all don't need to see it because I'm going to tell y'all. This topic is something that I felt myself ranting about when I first started. So the notes are less notes and more of just me organizing to make sure that I stay on topic and this doesn't become a complete rant, and instead remains as educational as possible. So I made a video a while back about how privileged vegans are. Not exactly what the video was about, but I do want y'all to understand a little bit more about privilege and how it relates to veganism. So if you have not watched that video, please go watch it. It's up here somewhere. Please go watch it. It's important. And if you don't really understand about privilege and the privilege wheel and all that stuff, it is an amazing resource and will better help you in understanding this video. And then come back to this video when you finish watching that one. Now, if you want to just finish watching this one and then go to that one, it's your choice, it's your prerogative, but I really want everyone to have more of a base knowledge when it comes to privilege from a sociological standpoint, which is what that video is about. This particular video is focused more on a vegan to vegan standpoint as it comes to privileges and things of that nature. Only because I've seen a lot of vegans putting other vegans down for various different reasons, and I want to touch on some of those reasons. So, my question to you before we get started is, are you vegan enough? As I pose that question, and as you think of that question, I want you to subscribe, hit like, leave a comment, ring that bell, because this is week 2 of consecutive recordings. Second week of putting out videos back to back. I'm proud of myself, and I'm going to do another one next week. So, the definition of veganism includes the words as far as possible and practical. Those 2 words, possible and practical, technically 3 words, are very important. And you will see why as we keep going. I'm going to focus a lot on time and a lot on money in this video, and how those 2 things are different for everyone and affects privilege differently. As far as time, an example of how it varies from person to person is somebody who takes a bus to work versus someone who takes a car to work versus someone who works from home. The person who works from home has the most time because they don't have to worry about travel at all whatsoever because they're already home. They're already at work. They wake up and they're at work. The person taking the car to work do, however, have to worry just slightly more about time because they have, say, a 15-minute commute to work and a 15-minute commute from work, which means that's 30 minutes of their day that they don't have to do whatever is needed or wanted. The person who takes the bus, that bus ride might be an hour and a half for what would normally be a 15-minute drive. So that hour and a half is gone. That's time taken away from that person that they could be doing other things. So while the person in the car might still be at home, You know, they might haven't even woken up yet. And they all start working, let's say 8 o'clock. They haven't even woken up yet at 7. What? If it's an hour and a half bus trip, and don't even necessarily mean you getting there at 8. You could get there much earlier than 8 because you don't control bus schedules. Like, the person in the car could still very much be asleep. Like, they might not wake up until 7. And you're already on the bus at 6:30. So, time for everyone is different. The person at home could still be asleep at 7 o'clock when the car rider is up. That person that works from home might not wake up until 7:59. Like, time is different for everyone. Now, I use this as an example because I personally like sleep. But, these people could be using their time for cleaning. They could be using their time for childcare. They could be using their time for a variety of different things, right? They're using their time for cooking, etc., etc., etc. There's a million different things they could be using those extra time for that bus driver or bus rider does not have. If you have kids, you have significantly less time regardless of your mode of transportation, okay? Regardless. Because you have to dress your kids, you have to feed your kids, you have to help kids with homework, you have to get kids to after school activities, you have to drop kids off at school. Like, you have more things that you have to do, which means you have less time. We're moving on to money. If you have kids, you have less money. Period. Someone with $40,000 with no kids, that $40,000 means a lot more to them than that $40,000 with kids. Because that $40,000 with kids, most of that money is going to raising them kids. Okay? So, someone that makes $40,000 a year but has kids have much more responsibilities with their money, which means something as low as 18 cents could make a difference. Just saying. Just saving 18 cents can make a difference. Especially if you're saving 18 cents a week. Like, that adds up. Someone that is traveling to work, whether it's by car or by bus or train or whatever, you're making less money because you have less, that time is being used for traveling. In addition, you have a traveling expense. So not only are you using time to travel to work that you're not getting paid for, but you also have a traveling expense. Whether that's gas or bus fees or Uber fees, it's a traveling expense. Unless you work from home. You work from home, you don't have a traveling expense. Kudos to you. That's your privilege. That is your privilege. But that's not everybody's. Right? So now we're going to move back to the question that I asked you earlier. Are you vegan enough? A lot of times when people are putting down other vegans, if that person is a new vegan and is trying it out and experimenting, etc., it could feel like to them that this is too much, too complicated, and they give up. If they've been a long-term vegan, then it turns into an argument, and then a new vegan is watching this like, what is happening? And it's just overall not the best for the animals. As I personally do not want to see vegans not be vegans, or anyone not be vegan for that matter, but you get the point. An example of this specifically as it pertains to sugar. Yes, sugar. You heard me right. Sugar. For those of you who do not know, sugar is processed through bone char. The bone char is used Don't quote me on this because I don't actually know, but I'm pretty sure it's used for the coloration of sugar. Now, this still extends to like brown sugar and confectioner sugar and all that stuff. All this stuff goes through bone char. Unless, and I did research this part, unless it is organic, unrefined, or beet sugar. Those are your ones that don't go through bone char. Let's talk about cost, because cost is important as it pertains to sugar. So, Walmart, 4-pound bag of sugar. I want to seem like a news reporter or something. A 4-pound bag of sugar costs Walmart, or at Walmart, is $2.94. 4 pounds relates to math. 64 ounces? Ooh. We're gonna say 64 ounces. Now, a 16 ounce of organic sugar at Walmart costs $3.12. It is 64 ounces. The math just clicked. It's 64. All right, but going back, sorry. 16 ounces of organic sugar costs $3.12. Sorry, $3.12. This is roughly an 18-cent difference. It's not even roughly. It is an 18-cent difference, okay? But not only is it an 18-cent difference, but that is a huge difference in the amount of sugar that you get. Like, huge difference. That is a big difference in the amount of sugar that you get. And that was the cheapest bag I found of organic sugar. That's crazy. But for me, no kids to take care of, any of this, I could afford to buy organic sugar. And it hit my pockets. It would hit my pockets. It's still expensive when you consider that you can get a 4-pound bag of sugar and not have to buy any more sugar for a couple months versus a 16-ounce bag of sugar and have to buy sugar, I don't know, weekly. I use sugar every morning. Like, that's a big difference. That's all I'm saying. That's a big difference. And with that difference, it affects people. Not everyone can afford to buy strictly organic sugar. Now, it gets worse because not everyone is going to avoid going to restaurants because you don't know what sugar they're using or because they're not using organic sugar. And trust me, if they're not advertising that it's organic sugar, then it's not organic sugar, because they would be advertising that it was organic sugar because that's more money in their pockets, because they can up the price of anything organic. This doesn't just pertain to regular restaurants. This also pertains to vegan restaurants and vegan products. Because, again, unless it says organic, it's probably not organic. I'm just saying. I researched on some of the companies and organizations and stuff like that to try to see what they were thinking in terms of the sugar nonsense. And I am saying nonsense, and I'm using it nonchalantly, but I do want to say thank you to those who are in a predicament where they can avoid sugar or anything that's not organic sugar, and do so. That is what is possible and practical for you. And thank you. But it is not what's possible and practical for most people. And that's the part that I'm trying to convey. It is so much not possible and practical for most people that even animal rights organizations and things of that nature aren't pressed about the sugar. So much so that PETA did an article and they were basically just like, yeah, if you're interested, here's an article on how you can get sugar without bone char. But if you don't know, don't worry about it. I mean, I changed their words a little bit, but that's basically what they said. I'll link it, and I have a thing up here somewhere so y'all can read it. But that's pretty much what they're saying. Like, because how are you going to avoid sugar? How are you going to avoid sugar? It's literally in everything. It's in peanut butter. It's in jelly, as I want some peanut butter and jelly. But it's in everything. And no one knows whether or not the sugar that they're using is unrefined. Whatever that means. Like, it's not realistic. It's not possible and practical for everyone to avoid sugar. This is what it would look like for all the vegans to avoid sugar. A, it would look like all of our vegan restaurants always using organic sugar, which means all of our vegan restaurants are going to become more expensive, which means everyone's not going to be able to afford our vegan restaurants. But it would also look like cooking at home regularly, daily. Like, not eating out anywhere. Because where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? Not everyone has vegan restaurants around the corner. Like, where are you going to go? Other than Burger King, Wendy's, wherever else restaurants you have in your area that's probably not 100% vegan. Those are your options. And I promise you, they're not using organic sugar. They're not. It's not possible and practical for everybody. Which takes me to my next point. There are vegans that only eat out at vegan restaurants. They don't eat out anywhere else. You are lucky. Very, very lucky. Okay? Ooh, I just realized I don't have my glasses on. Back to the point. You are lucky. How lucky are you to sit around and be able to say, oh, I only eat at vegan restaurants? Okay? I got vegan restaurants galore surrounding me. I only eat at vegan restaurants. Thank you, LA, okay? But everybody don't live in LA. Everybody does not live in Seattle. Everyone does not, oh wait, I was going to say everyone does not live in Austin, but most of the Austin restaurants weren't even fully vegan. So, again, you are privileged. Okay? You are privileged. And everybody cannot move to LA. Everyone cannot move to Seattle and wherever else all these amazing vegan restaurants are that you speak of. Okay? We don't even have a single vegan fast food restaurant over here. But your tail in LA over here, oh, I only go to vegan restaurants. Okay? Go through the drive-thru. Get me some food then, too. I know I said I wasn't going to turn this into a rant, but it didn't turn into a rant. I had to close the book. I'm not even looking at the book no more. It didn't turn into a rant. Again. I'm not deleting this one. I'm not starting over. I'm not. It's not possible and practical for most people. It's not. Now here's one that doesn't anger me so much because it really just is people not knowing. But cooking at home every day, never eating out. I was going to hit on this topic again in this video, but you know what? Yes, I am. I talked about it in the last video that I told y'all to watch earlier, but I'm going to hit on it again because why not? Why not? Everyone does not have time to cook every meal. It is a privilege to be able to cook every single meal you eat. Congratulations to you. Okay? Whoop-de-doo. Not everybody can garden all of their food. I mean, some of us just kill plants. Like, I'm just saying, they die. Like, don't ever ask me to house sit a plant because they're going to be dead. Period. I'm just telling you how it is. But on top of that, not everybody has space to garden. Gardening takes space. You're assuming everyone has a yard. Like, not everyone has a yard. Some people live in apartments. It's a privilege to be able to garden your own food all the time, okay? It's a privilege. I'm happy for you. Just as it is a privilege to be able to cook your own foods all the time. It is a privilege. Not everybody has that much time. Not everyone has that much time. Some people go to fast food restaurants because that's the only time that they have. And they eat it in the car on their way to locations because that's the only time that they have. That's it. It is a privilege to be able to say that I only eat at vegan restaurants because congratulations to you. Like, I'm happy for you. I really am. But I'm also jealous because that's not a privilege that I have. And that's not a privilege that most people have. It's just not. It's not a privilege that they have. Whether it's because they have kids and they don't have, that's expensive. Vegan restaurants are expensive, y'all. They have kids. They can't afford to take them to vegan restaurants. But they can afford to take everyone to Burger King. Okay, maybe not Burger King because their Impossible Whopper is pretty high. But you get my point. They can afford to take them to somewhere else. But they can't afford to take them to a bunch of vegan restaurants. They can afford to take them somewhere that has vegan pizza. But that's not a fully vegan restaurant. Not everybody has the privilege to go to vegan restaurants, whether it's because they, like I just said, don't have the money or they don't have the time. We're assuming that everyone lives in places that has amazing vegan options. I am privileged enough to live in a place that has amazing vegan options. And I understand that. I recognize that. I see that as my privilege. But at the same token, not everyone is privileged enough to live in a place that has amazing vegan restaurants. I moved from Hampton Roads, Virginia. As y'all know, that's where I lived. And we had amazing vegan restaurants. Like a lot of them. A lot of them. Now I'm here in Jacksonville and some of my favorite restaurants, aren't fully vegan. But they have the best vegan food here in Jacksonville. In my opinion, but they're not fully vegan. We have the #1 most vegan-friendly movie theater right here in Jacksonville, but that movie theater is not fully vegan. You can get vegan hot dogs, vegan nachos, vegan whatever you want, vegan chicken nuggets, but they're not fully vegan, but they are rated the most vegan-friendly movie theater in the country. So, people of LA, come visit Sunray Cinema, okay? Those of you that can only eat at vegan restaurants. Man, jealous. But then, on top of that, you assume people live in civilization. Some people live in areas that are remote. And I'm not saying remote in the sense that there's nobody else around. I'm saying remote in the sense that they live in a small town. They don't get to travel an hour, 2 hours just to go to a vegan restaurant. Y'all, it's not realistic. Change of phrase. I'm sorry. It's not possible and practical. It's not. Would I love to live in a place that is as vegan friendly as LA? Yes. But even some of LA's most popular vegan places aren't fully vegan. Like, I don't understand where you people are living. Oh, where are you living? I would love to move there. To be able to just go to just and then they taste good too. That's another point. Because I'm not moving somewhere to be able to eat at just strictly vegan places and all you feeding me is salads. I'm not eating no raw nothing. Unless it's dessert. I will have raw dessert. Because that's basically like fruits and nuts. And those are really good. But other than that, you not about to get me to eat no raw salad. Like, no raw sandwich, no raw spaghetti, no raw none of that. Because all that's just a salad. That's all that is a salad with some extra dressing on it. Y'all not. No. Nope. No. And then, on top of that, my next question is, are y'all doing, is it that Dr. Sebi meal stuff? Because I tried Dr. Sebi's food at a restaurant, so it won't like me trying to cook it. It was an actual restaurant of people that knew what they were doing. That was their thing, and that food was gross. So if you own that stuff in whatever mystical land that you living in, that you can go to strictly vegan food restaurants and never eat nothing else, then you can count me out of that too. Because I'm not going to eat nasty food. No, but in all seriousness, I'm done joking. I'm saying that I want everyone to really take a deep dive into their privilege. And consider what is possible and practical for most people in the world. It is possible and practical for most people in the world to go vegan. Not necessarily everyone, if you consider like food deserts and, again, money and all that stuff, homeless people, not possible and practical for everyone, but it is possible and practical for most people, at least in our country. I'm not going to say the world, but for most people in our country. However, it is not possible and practical for everyone or most people to avoid sugar. It is not possible and practical for most people to only eat out at vegan restaurants. It is not possible and practical for most people to cook all of their meals at home. It is probably not possible and practical for most things that a lot of people are saying that vegans should do. But it is possible and practical for most people to not wear animal products. It is possible and practical for most people to not eat animal products, which, by the way, I can say specifically with the bone char thing, you're not eating animal products. It is part of the process in which that makes the sugar the way that it is, but there is no bone char in the sugar final process itself. So I figured I would say that part just in case that made a difference for somebody. But yeah, it is possible and practical for most people to avoid animal products such as eggs, cheese, dairy, just dairy in general, meat, seafood, etc. It is not possible and practical for people to just avoid sugar and eating at anywhere that isn't vegan, like 100% vegan. And well, it's just not possible and practical for people to cook at home 100% of the time either. So there's that. I want to thank you all for watching this video. I hope that you all understand. And you would understand more if you watched my previous video, like I said. Because this one's not as in-depth as that one. This was just pinpointing specific things. But I do hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. And be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I shall see y'all next week. Bye.